Hello viewers! While driving our cars, we rely heavily on several gauges to give us an insight into what's happening. This includes a speedometer, rev counter or a temp gauge, just to name a few. And of course, the fuel gauge, which obviously shows how much gas is inside the tank. With it not working correctly, you're always at risk of running out of fuel and being left stranded. Sure, you could count the miles with each fill up, but that's anything but practical. So with that in mind, let's see what might cause the fuel gauge to stop working or to be inaccurate. We'll start by going through all the potential parts and defects that may cause fuel gauge issues. And the first on the list is the sending unit, as this is where the whole process begins. As your vehicle runs, it constantly monitors the fuel level inside the tank. Constant use, however, means the sender is prone to wear. If, for instance, its electrical contacts wear out, the circuit can remain open. In turn, the fuel gauge might think the voltage feedback means the tank is either empty or full, depending on how the car is set up. In this case, the fuel gauge won't change regardless of how much fuel is in the tank. Next, we have the wiring, which connects the sender to the car's electrical system. If there is a flaw here, the sender might not receive or return sufficient voltage for the gauge to read correctly. In some cases, the issue is because of an interrupted ground connection. Another possibility is a loose or corroded connector, which is commonly seen on the connection to the fuel pump module because of consistent exposure to the elements. Now, while on the subject of wiring, we must mention the fuse, which may blow for many reasons. In most cases, the fuse for fuel sender or module, whichever your car has, is located under the steering column or on the driver's side of your vehicle. In some cars, however, there is also a fuse box under the hood. Checking the fuse is simple to do and it only requires a few minutes. You can find a map of fuses in the owner's manual to determine which one runs the fuel gauge. Lastly, we have the fuel gauge, the one that you see on your dashboard. And while this isn't as likely, it can still be the cause. The gauges have an internal circuit inside which can fail and jam the needle at a random level. If you see the gauge somewhere at a half point, it might be failed circuit in one area. Otherwise, if the needle is stuck at full or empty, the circuit is shorted. And if that's the case, it's unlikely that the gauge will ever move again and it needs to be replaced. On most newer cars, though, the fuel gauge is often integrated into the instrument cluster, which is unfortunate, as this means it can be replaced or repaired separately. So, should it fail, you'll have to replace the whole instrument cluster, and as you may imagine, that isn't going to be cheap. The fuel gauge contains three vital parts that work together seamlessly. The gauge that you see relies upon the circuit and sender for information. If any of these parts fail, the gauge could read wrong. The fuel gauge sending unit is a component of the fuel pump module. Most systems rely on a sending unit that contains a float to read the fuel level. The circuit is used to connect the battery with the gas gauge and the sending unit, but there is also a connection to the ground. The majority of them are grounded to the vehicle's electrical system, but in older models they are grounded to the frame or body. What you see in the instrument cluster is just the fuel gauge. It reveals the information that has been sent to it, showing how much fuel is left in the tank. Read your owner's manual to determine if your instrument cluster has a self-test procedure. While most cars from the early 90s have this procedure, it differs with every make and model. In some cases, you might be required to turn the headlights on and off several times while you press a button, but it could also involve turning the ignition. During this self-test, you should see the fuel gauge go through the entire sweep of the different locations. If it doesn't, there is something wrong with the fuel gauge or the instrument cluster. Another simple check involves looking at the fuse. In some cases, the fuse will run multiple gauges, so you might notice something else isn't reading correctly at the same time. If you find a blown fuse, replace it and test the gauge again. However, if the fuse continues to fail, you might have a larger electrical system problem on your hands. While checking all the wiring isn't difficult, it does take some time. You'll want to start at the gas tank and inspect the wiring harness. You also need to look at the ground connections, which can become corroded due to rain, snow and salt. If you spot any corrosion, remove the connection and clean it. Make sure you reattach it to the correct location, and if you find a broken wire, you need to replace it. You can also measure the resistance in the wiring from the gauge and then compare it with the results measured at the sender. If there is a noticeable difference here, it is very likely that there is an open or shorted circuit. If all of the wiring looks good and there is no issues with the fuse, you have to move on to checking the sending unit. In some cases, it's just the float that is broken. To test the sending unit, set your multimeter to ohms. Place one probe on the sending terminal with the other on the ground. As you move the float, the resistance should change on your multimeter, and if there is no change, your sending unit is broken. However, if the sending unit and the fuel pump are integrated into one assembly, you will have a harder time testing it. And when these fail, the whole pump assembly must be replaced. In some cars, you have to remove the fuel tank to reach the sending unit, which makes the whole process much more difficult. If you have an older vehicle, the gauge should have two terminals. One is used to receive power at any time the ignition is on, while the other is wire coming from the sending unit. Test continuity between the sending terminal and the connection at the tank. If you don't have continuity, you have to find a break in the wiring. You can also test the fuel gauge by checking the resistance. But with newer vehicles, however, it can be nearly impossible to do this with the integrated instrument cluster. You might need to disassemble the entire cluster to get to the gauge, which is why it's best to carefully inspect the wiring and the sending unit first. Depending on the case, fixing a bad fuel gauge can cost between $10 and $800. The least expensive fix would be to replace a blown fuse, which might only cost you a couple of bucks, and you can easily do it yourself. If the fuel gauge is damaged, you can replace it for between $50 and $200, as long as you can do the job yourself. Otherwise, you might spend another $100 or even more on a mechanic. The most expensive repair is often replacing the sending unit. Not only is this part expensive, but it's also time consuming to replace it. On some cars, you have to remove the whole fuel tank to reach the sender, and as you may imagine, this isn't an easy job. Depending on what type of car you drive, you might spend between $200 and up to $800 until all this is done. Okay, before we finish, let me show you one cool trick about the fuel gauge. In many cars, there is an arrow on the fuel gauge just like this one. This is to show you on which side of the car is the fuel filler cap, which can be very helpful when driving a rental or a borrowed car. Okay, that would be all about the fuel gauge, why it fails and how to fix it. I hope this video was helpful and that you managed to fix the issue, and if so, don't forget to give us a big thumbs up and share it with your friends. But if not, a whole lot of other things could be causing the issue. So to continue troubleshooting, check out other videos here or visit our site mechanicbase.com for detailed automotive repair guides. Bye!